Hello viewers, welcome to our lecture series on Indian ethos in management, and this lecture is under special segment and Ms. Manisha is there with us for this symbolic expression. And the topic of today's discussion is Indian management versus Western management. This is going to be the last part, that is part 4 of this discussion on Western Enlightenment and Eastern Awakening. So with this as our agenda, let me recapitulate what we have discussed up till now. We had discussed about implications for management, administration and society with regard to this Eastern Awakening and Western Enlightenment. We had also discussed about from conflict resolution to conflict dissolution, the idea where we believe in resolving that conflict rather than taking care of those conflicts which arise in due course of time. Here we believe in Eastern Awakening idea that why to wait for conflict to arise. We dissolve the conflict at the very outset. We also discussed about the concept of ethical values addition in relation to economic value addition, which is a new concept in terms of EVA. We also discussed about a model of holistic development along with corporate rishi leadership, where the leader is regarded as a rishi who is going to re-see into the concepts, into the problems, into the ideas. And going ahead, today we'll discuss about the environmental concern through eco-balancing, and eventually we'll talk about from Harvard to Haridwar and beyond, where this implication is very much important for us to understand the spiritual side of the Indian model of management. So let us start with the environmental concerns through eco-balancing. As we all know about the Indian concept of Panch Tattva, where these 5 gross elements are known as earth, air, fire, water and sky. And their natural dharma or inherent property is providing us a foundational basis for environmental concerns. We all know that human body is made of those 5 elements, and after a certain age, when we leave our body, that actually dissolves into those 5 elements only. So it originated from those 5 elements and it eventually goes out into those 5 elements only, it dissolves into those 5 elements only, which offers a very strong foundational basis for environmental concern. We should be concerned about what we are made of. We are made of those 5 important elements, and their inherent properties, or what you call as their natural dharma, is inside our body. It is present into our existence. So along with our existence, those 5 elements are walking. We are walking with those 5 elements. So there is a natural balancing among these 5 elements. We can say that they are naturally balanced. They maintain a balance naturally. But when this natural balancing is disturbed by any kind of maneuvering or any kind of intervention by human being, either because of natural causes or because of human interventions, the pollution in varying form is witnessed. We start witnessing the environment getting polluted. So from where this pollution comes by the human intervention. Otherwise, naturally, things are always right in place, they are always in order. Nature has its own properties, it has its own way of balancing the natural properties. So it is a human intervention which is causing pollution in varying forms, and we are witnessing that. And this eventually in turn leads to spread of diseases, problems, other problems for the human beings and society. And then we start finding ways and means to solve those emerging problems. And here comes the Indian style of management, or what we call as the Eastern Awakening. We believe into the Western Enlightenment, but Eastern Awakening has its own role to play. So from utilitarian to ethicotarian view is very much important here, is very much pertinent here. This view considers these 5 elements from merely a utilitarian angle and thereby leading to a disturbance in their natural equilibrium. So if we believe into this concept, we take these resources from the point of view of utility only, their use only, their usage only. Of course, it will lead to a disturbance in the natural equilibrium. In contrast, if we consider these resources from ethicotarian view, it considers these 5 elements as sacred, as very pious, and hence its focus is on retaining the natural equilibrium without wasting these important and scarce resources. So my dear learners, it is a beauty of ethicotarian view which actually is much more sustainable and viable. Why don't we follow this view which is more sustainable? Why don't we think about preserving those natural resources which are scarce in nature? Why to actually cry after this entire problem occurs? Why don't we plan in advance? Because we are human beings. We should try to retain the resources in their own natural form. We should not cause any harm to the ecology in which we are living. So this is very much important for us to understand that utilitarian view is important. It is important for success. It is important for growth. It is important for development. But if we really wish that this development or this growth or progress should be sustainable, we have only way out, that is ethicotarian. So we have to follow this path of being ethicotarian if we really wish our progress to be sustainable, if we really wish our development to be sustainable for long. And this is what is the implication of this aspect of Eastern awakening, that we should stay awakened, we should have enlightenment, but along with that, awakening is equally important. Another important aspect comes here in front of us as an implication of Eastern awakening idea, that is liberation of mind, what we call as mind liberation. It is also called as mind liberation project. So at the root of Eastern awakening is the mind liberation project. If we go to the origin point, that is point of origin, or what you call as root of Eastern awakening idea, it is basically the mind liberation project. You find it as a project which is there to liberate our mind. Now the question comes, liberation from what? If we look at the objective of Western Enlightenment project, it was to introduce a reason as a primary mode of thinking. We should be logical. We should evaluate everything from the perspective of cause and effect relationship. So we always believe into the logic, and there is no harm into that. We should believe into the logic. We should find the logic behind any or every incident or act. But if we look at the beauty of the very objective of Mind Liberation Project, which is called as MLP, it is to question the reason. So we are going to question that reason through the instrument of both reason and intuition. Imagine the extent of your logic, that you are trying to find the reason behind that reason. That what is the reason behind this reason? Why this problem has emanated? What is the root cause? And while finding that logic, we do apply our intuition. And when we combine these two, it becomes our wisdom. So when the knowledge is combined with the intuition, we actually call it as wisdom. So it is the wisdom which is going to prevail in the long run. And mind liberation is one of the key and very important implication of Eastern awakening idea. If we compare the Western Enlightenment and Eastern awakening from this point of view, MLP is basically creativity oriented. That is, mind liberation is looking for the creativity. Whereas the Western Enlightenment is rationality dominated. Here the dominance of rationality is there. We believe into the logic only. We feel that we behave like a lawmaker, that there is always a logic behind any law. And we at times we ignore creativity, which is equally important. So Western Enlightenment is rationality dominated, whereas MLP is creativity oriented. Another difference is Western Enlightenment offers a narrow definition of knowledge. If we define knowledge from the perspective of Western Enlightenment perspective, it is giving us a kind of narrow definition of knowledge, we can say. But if you look at the definition of knowledge from the perspective of MLP, it broadens the view about knowledge, and it permits knowledge generation through creative and intuitive insights. Just imagine the beauty of this concept, this entire idea, that we are not only running behind gaining the knowledge, we are not only striving to gain knowledge, but we are also there to create knowledge. Imagine that you become a source of knowledge creation, knowledge generation. By the way of your creativity, by the way of your intuitive insights, you are contributing to the body of knowledge. And that is what real research is, that is what actual research is. That we should be in a position to contribute to the existing body of knowledge. In every research, when we do the literature review, we always try to find a research gap, the research question, that this is the point where the previous researchers could not delve into. And this is the point where we are going to make a difference by the way of our own contribution. So this comparison is actually acting as an eye-opener to us. We feel that, see the importance and significance of this Eastern awakening. It actually is complementary in nature. Once they are combined together, we can find a development path which is having speed, and along with the speed you have sustainability also. Western Enlightenment attempts at dominating other cultures through science and technology. Their nature is to dominate the different cultures and their avenues by the way of science and technology. Whereas if you look at the liberal attitude or aptitude of MLP, it aims at overcoming such attempts at mental and social dominations. It is there to overcome those dominations. Why to dominate others? We should believe into the cooperation, coexistence, not competition, and that too which is cutthroat. So we should avoid competing with others. Everybody is having his or her own journey. So we should try to focus on our journey and contribute to this Mother Earth where we are living. The next important implication here is from Harvard to Haridwar and beyond. And here comes the spiritual aspect of this very Eastern awakening idea. Harvard here is acting as a metaphor for corporate management and managing others. When we look at the corporate management, Harvard is a reflective of a university, a system where a school which actually believes into the corporate management and managing others. And with the passage of time, they have created a benchmark of ensuring quality management. So it is a reflective of R, that is reason, that is logic. So here we are talking about, we are representing Harvard by logic, that you are being very logical. And we have to take care of the corporate management practices logically. Whereas Haridwar is here giving a reflection of self-management and spiritual quest, that we have to manage ourselves in a proper manner. We talk about the spiritual quest of human being, that we have got this life by the Almighty, and we have to make our contribution towards this spiritual quest. And when we combine them together, we arrive at an entirely new approach to management and social thought, wherein lessons from both approaches are combined together. We are combining the lessons of both the ideas, both the approaches together. But our objective is very clear. The objective is to ensure the overall development of organization as well as society. And once our organization and societies, they are developed in a holistic manner, there is nothing which can stop any nation or the entire world from progressing, from ensuring that they are holistically developed. So we have to combine both. We need logic, but we also need the spiritual quest inside us. We should be spiritually sound also. We should manage ourselves in such a way that we are going to progress along with our family, along with our society, along with our nation, and eventually the entire world is going to gain the benefit of these two concepts. So both the concepts are complementary in nature. They are not at all competitive. So here we have argued for a symbiosis of the Western Enlightenment and Eastern Awakening. We have never talked about making a comparison between them or saying that this one is better and this one is good. Through these two streams of ideas and knowledge, we can move towards building a better society, a better nation, a better place, better world to live. The entire world to be made as a better place to live. And this kind of combination would also help us in building better business enterprises, both business as well as non-business. So you can create a society which is actually satisfied, which is sound in terms of logic, but it also has wisdom. So we should have logic, we should have wisdom, we should have Eastern awakening along with the Western Enlightenment. Both are good, so why don't we take the goodness of both of them? And in India we follow the concept of Ano Bhadra Kritavo Yantu Vishwata, meaning thereby let the noble idea come to us from each and every dimension. So we believe into this kind of philosophy where we are trying to find the best out of each and every activity, best from each and every human being. And numerous instances are here in front of us which provide empirical evidence that it is possible to build enterprises based on holistic models of development. I won't take name of any corporate entity or any individual here, but there are numerous instances which offer empirical evidence that it is very much possible to build an enterprise which is based on holistic models of development emanating from Eastern awakening ideas. They are rooted in the synthesis of Western Enlightenment and Eastern awakening. So both are there. And it is also interesting that such empirical evidence, they have emanated from Indian context. You will find their origin from Indian context, and this indicates, this reflects that it is very much possible to create, to ensure a paradigm shift towards synthesis of Western management and Eastern awakening. So you can actually combine both the ideas together and ensure that whatever development we are witnessing, that is sustainable, that is going to be sustainable, and we are going to leave this world at least in the same manner in which we have inherited from our ancestors. This is what is the beauty of this very concept. And here I would like to acknowledge the contribution of Dr. Subhash Sharma, who has actually written this article, Western Enlightenment and Eastern Awakening. It was published in International Journal of Human Resource Management, Development and Management, published by InterScience UK, and he has drawn a very apt comparison between the Western Enlightenment and Eastern Awakening. So my dear learners, here we have discussed about both the ideas. We talked about the Western Enlightenment, we discussed about Eastern Awakening, and we also discussed about the implication of both the ideas. So I hope you must have understood what we wanted to discuss here. Because in the subject of Indian ethos in management, at times my learners ask that, sir, are we going to make a comparison between the Western philosophy and Indian idea to find the best? My answer is no. We are here to actually draw an inference out of both the concepts, both the approaches. And then it is up to you to decide which one is better, or within both the approaches, whatever is better, that we should accept. We should not challenge any of the ideas. I won't say that Western Enlightenment is the only way to success, or I would say Eastern Awakening is the only way to success. Both are equally important. For development, we need logic. For ensuring the development of any nation, it is the science and technology which is going to provide you a space, a place. You can only create your niche for yourself as a country when you are developed in terms of science and technology. So Western Enlightenment is very much important for us to ensure the material development. Material development cannot be denied, because unless you are materially developed, what you are going to distribute? Poverty, disparity, or any other problem. So we are not here to share the problem, we are here to share the prosperity. And once you are prospering, you have to ensure that how to sustain this prosperity. Because attaining a certain stage is good, that you have attained a certain level. But are you able to sustain that? If your development is not sustainable, then of course it is questionable. So with this as an idea, my dear learners, I tried to provide you the different colors of Eastern Awakening and Western Enlightenment idea with the help of the article which I have quoted. And I hope you must have understood the very idea of making a comparison between Western Enlightenment and Eastern Awakening, in which we have discussed about the best part of both of them. In the next lecture of mine, I'll tell you about the self-management, which is another topic of interest in the subject of Indian ethos in management. And there we'll talk about beyond Western models of self-development, that there is a Western model of self-development which is tried and tested. But what about thinking beyond that model? Do we have something from our side, from the Eastern side to offer? Can we make a difference by making good use of our concepts, our ideas, our literature? And if it is so, why to stop? Why shouldn't we discuss what is best into our philosophy, what is best into our scriptures? So these ideas I am going to present before you in the next lecture of mine on the topic of self-management. I hope you must have understood and enjoyed today's lecture of mine, where we talked about the Western Enlightenment and Eastern Awakening. With this, I am ending today's lecture. Thank you so much.